Today on the GoldwingDocs YouTube channel, plastic bodywork. Our bikes are covered in it. It breaks. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Coming up. Motorcycles like our Goldwings are covered in bodywork. A lot of people think it's fiberglass, but it's actually plastic. ABS plastic to be exact. ABS is actually a really good choice for this application. It's strong, it's flexible, it works in various different temperatures, it's relatively UV resistant, it does need to be painted, raw ABS will degrade under the sun, and it's relatively easy to work with. It's fairly strong and resistant to movement, but it is actually flexible. So as you move around and hit bumps, instead of cracking, it flexes. Now that will depend on temperatures. I do a lot of cold weather riding, so your plastic can get a little more brittle than when it's in the heat of the summer. Recently I noticed the right front wheel cover on my GL 1500 Goldwing was loose and moving around. Upon inspection, I discovered that the inside portion of this screw hole had cracked and entirely broken away. As a result, the entire bottom of the wheel cover was then moving in and out, causing this screw to come loose as well and back out. So the entire wheel cover was being held on by a single screw up near the top. So today, we're going to have a look at the repair of that wheel cover and talk about plastic repair in general. There's a lot of products around for repairing plastic. Some of them are targeted directly towards motorcycles. There are many different ways of repairing plastic on your motorcycle, but the simplest and fastest one and cheapest is actually also the best. There are quite a few aftermarket products for fixing plastic. Some of them utilize fiberglass and resin. I've seen people use fiberglass cloth with resin bonded to the inside of the plastic. And I've also seen products such as Plastifix, other similar plastic type polymers that you apply that adhere to the plastic like glue and then harden in place. The problem with all of these is that they are not ABS. ABS flexes and the amount of flex changes depending on the temperature. The problem with these products is that they're much more rigid than ABS. As the ABS heats up, it becomes softer and bends easier. As it cools off, it gets more firm, and that differs in the way that the repair does. So if you have, for instance, fiberglass, which is extremely hard, bonded to the ABS bends, well, that's fine, ABS bends normally, but the fiberglass doesn't. So instead, it just cracks and breaks away from the ABS. Now your repair has failed, you've got to start all over again. The repair I'm going to show you is best because it uses ABS. What we're going to do is fix ABS with more ABS, and in most cases, the repair will end up being stronger than the original piece. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use these two small pieces of ABS. I buy these pieces from a local injection molding company that builds boxes for electronic parts. I use these quite frequently for motorcycle repairs. I'll bond them using the glue that I'll show you in just a moment to the inside of the cracked piece. I'll push the cracked piece together, a little bit of solution on the inside, bond this to that panel, let it cure. Once it's cured, that crack is closed up so well that you can barely even see it and often doesn't even need to be repainted on the outside. And the repair is usually stronger than the piece was originally. The glue that I normally use is ABS cement. I prefer this OT very special cement, what's it called? Extra special medium black ABS cement. I'll leave a link to this in the footer of the video. You'll find this in the plumbing section of your local hardware store. However, it's becoming a little harder to find because ABS in terms of plumbing is not used as much as PVC. You don't want to use PVC cement for this application. You really want to use this ABS. This has got a solvent as well as a resin in it that really bonds well to ABS. And why does it bond well? Well, we're not just gluing these pieces together. This is not a glue that you can then later break apart. What's important about using this cement is that it chemically melts these ABS pieces as well as the ABS on your motorcycle. So once it chemically melts that and you push them together, clamp it, once it's cured, that is no longer two pieces of ABS glued together. That is a single piece of ABS. Those pieces have melted together and become a single piece. We'll do that right now just to show you. So I'm going to take the brush out of my tub of ABS cement right here. Then I'm going to apply it to both sides, both surfaces of those ABS pieces. Now that I've coated both pieces with the ABS cement, I will push them together. As you can see, they're still moving around, and then clamp in place. As I clamp it, you'll see a little bit squish out of the ends. That's fine, you can leave that, or if it really bothers you, you can wipe it up with a cloth. Let that cure for, 10 minutes, and you can remove the clamp. Sometimes it's a larger piece with a lot of ABS repair. I'll leave it clamped for several hours or even overnight. Sometimes you'll come across a repair where there's actually plastic missing. You can't just fix a repair like that by bonding two pieces together because there's nothing there to bond together. In that case, you have to do some reconstruction work. That's exactly the situation I encountered with my front wheel cover. I'll show you how we got around that in just a few moments. It's been half an hour since I clamped these together. I'll remove the clamp. These two pieces are now no longer two pieces being glued together. They've been chemically bonded. The plastic was actually melted chemically. The two pieces have been bonded together. They are now a single piece of ABS. Now, to be safe, I'd leave this for a couple of hours before I actually put it back on the bike, particularly in the case of this wheel cover, where it's going to be subjected to vibration and all kinds of bumps and strains. So you want to make sure that the plastic is fully cured.
The wheel cover for my motorcycle, as you can see, was actually broken out on the inside flange that holds it in place. Looking closely, here's the good one, and here's the one that was cracked and broken. You can see there's quite a bit of material missing. First, I have to remove all the paint. In this case, it's not actually paint, it's chrome, as the wheel cover was coated in chrome. ABS glue has to actually have raw ABS for it to bond to, so any paint and chrome in this case has to be removed. Also has to be removed from the inside. Once I removed the paint and the chroming, and you can see what was left of all the broken pieces, this is what remained. I cut it as smooth as possible. Next, I took one of my ABS patches and heated it. You don't want to heat it so much that it starts to bubble, just until it gets soft and you can start bending it to fit. I needed to build up the piece that had to replace the parts of the flange that had broken away. It's a little bit of a trial and error. Heat it up, cut it, form it, heat it some more, cut it, form it, until you get something that fits correctly. Here I'm fairly close, I just need to heat it and bend it just a little bit more. Now I'm cutting the final piece off to fit the contour of the broken piece on the wheel cover. Now that I've got it shaped to replace the broken and missing material, next I have to bond it in place. Doing so with some ABS cement both on the replacement piece and the existing wheel cover part. Next, we're going to make some ABS slurry. Slurry is used to fill up missing pieces, so I start with some shavings that I make by drilling holes in ABS. Take those thin shavings and add some ABS cement. The cement will start to chemically melt the shavings and make a thick paste or slurry, which can be used to build up where broken pieces were. You can also make it using MEK or methyl ethyl ketone. You can buy that at a paint store. Pour some in a shot glass, dump in some of the shavings, and stir it as it starts to melt. You can change the consistency of the slurry by either adding more MEK or more shavings to suit. I typically will leave this sit overnight to allow the MEK to completely melt all the shavings. Cover it up because it will evaporate. You can also use MEK on your shavings or your slurry if it starts getting too thick. If you work it for too long or wait too long, it will thicken up. So just adding some MEK will thin it out again. You can also add more shavings if you need more material. I'm now working it into a thick slurry. The longer you wait, the thicker it gets. You don't want to have chunks in there, but having a little bit of undissolved pieces in doesn't really hurt it. Start moving the slurry onto your repair. Now I've put the slurry all around the inside and the outside of my repair, and I've let it cure overnight. Next, another patch. Heat it up with a heat gun again. Pushing it up against the repair will form it to the repair. Again, this is a trial and error. Heat it, form it, until you have it positioned and shaped so that it fits correctly. It gets quite warm, so I end up wearing my gloves. Now it's formed correctly to fit over top the repair. I add some slurry into the repair piece, and then push it on top of the broken piece. Make sure there's lots of pressure to hold it well in place. Next, I make another patch, shape it the same way, fill it with slurry, and add it on top of the first one. This adds strength and thickness. You can see the finished repair from backside and from inside on the front of the rotor cover. Now I fill up that well with some slurry. Let that cure for several days to make sure it's completely cured and hard. Here's the bushing or collar that goes in through. As you can see, the bolt goes through that collar and pushes directly up against the bracket. The plastic does not contact the bracket itself, it's entirely that collar. So I have to drill a hole of the same size into that new repair through the slurry. I used a pilot drill first, now I'm using the drill bit that is the same size as the collar. Lastly, I file off with a Dremel tool from the backside to make it the correct thickness so that the collar fits through and contacts the bracket. The repair is complete. Looking inside, you can see the collars are installed, new bolts are in place, and the wheel cover is as good as new.
And there you have it. My wheel cover is good as new, stronger than ever. I didn't have to replace it, and I'm ready to go riding. If you like this video and you want to see lots more like it, please click the like button below and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll never miss a video. And of course, there's tons of information just like this and lots of friendly people on the GoldwingDocs website forum. Please check us out at GoldwingDocs.com.